Hey guys, welcome back to another cooking video with your one and only Clody Cooks in the kitchen. Have I got a delicious one for you today? Yes people, we're doing some oven baked Caribbean fusion sticky ribs, which I know you are going to love. I will talk you through all the ingredients that I'm using for this recipe today. Let's have a quick look at the ingredients. And there is the star of the show today. What are we waiting for? Let's get cooking. Okay, before we start to season up the spare ribs, right, let's talk you through the seasonings that I'm using, but of course you can adapt and use your own. We've got 2 teaspoons of onion and garlic granules, salt free. We've got ginger here, ground ginger, salt free, paprika, salt free, and both here we've got 3/4 teaspoons. We've got some jerk seasoning, that's a teaspoon. We've got some Chinese 5 spice blend here, and we've got some all-purpose seasoning, 1/4 teaspoon of caraway seeds, of course that's optional, and we've got salt and black pepper to taste. So just mix and match and create your own flavors. Let's season the ribs. I'm using about 1.5 kilos of ribs here. I've washed them with salt and vinegar, and then I pat dry them very well. And now just going to add a bit of olive oil, and we're going to blend all these seasonings together. Give it a good mix. Just trying to combine everything together. Now we're going to spread this evenly over the ribs. Right, and we're just going to really mix this in. And once we've mixed this all up, so every rib is coated with these delicious flavors, then we're going to set it aside. Ideally, if you've got time to do it overnight, then do that. If you don't have time, you can cook it straight away. Really, you're still gonna get some delicious flavor here. Right, I've rubbed all the ingredients in now, so I'm just going to set that aside, and I'm going to get the tray ready to place the ribs on for the oven. Right, so as you can see, I've lined the baking tray with some foil before placing the ribs on. That helps with cleaning up afterwards, so we don't have to spend ages scrubbing and soaking our pans. And I'm just going to add to the tray 1/2 pint of pineapple juice to give it some liquid and flavor and stop it from drying out. I've got the oven preheated to 175 degrees Celsius, and I'm going to cover with another piece of foil, and I'm going to put those in the oven to bake for about 2.5 to 3 hours. So I will see you then, but don't forget to check in to make sure we have liquid in and it's not drying out. Okay, so keep an eye over that period. Let's make the glaze for the ribs. We're just gonna put about 1 tablespoon olive oil in pan, and we're going to add some shallots. I'm using a small one. We're just going to put that into the pan with some ginger and garlic, and we're just going to give those a little saute for about a minute or 2 before we add the other ingredients. Before I do that, I will just give this a little mix to help it along. Okay, see you in a moment. Right, the onions and the garlic and the ginger is finished now, so I'm adding 1/4 cup of soya sauce, and I'm adding about a teaspoon of sesame seed oil to the pan, 1/4 cup sweet chili sauce, 2 tablespoons of apple cider vinegar. You can use white wine vinegar, rice wine vinegar. You can also use mirin, or you can just use water. Let's add some sweetness. We're using just under half a cup of maple syrup. You can use sugar, followed by some jerk seasoning. I'm going to use about 2 spoons of that, and I'm adding 2 teaspoons of guava jam. I just love the flavor from this when you use the jam to make a glaze. It brings a wonderful flavor of the Caribbean right into the kitchen here. And we've got about a teaspoon of chili flakes, and I'm going to add some gochujang paste. This is going to create an umami type flavor to the glaze, and it's going to be delicious. Yes, I like it spicy. So I'm gonna add just a little splash of Scotch bonnet sauce to that, and we're going to add some black pepper. And before any salt is added to this, I'm just going to let it bubble away, and then once it's thickened, I will taste that just to make sure it's all balanced and whether I need to add any more salt to that. I'm just going to add a splash of water as well, just a drop. And I'm just going to let that stay on the cooker on the low to medium heat, and I'm just going to let that bubble away gently for about 5 minutes. So I'll see you then. This is what the sauce is looking like after 5 minutes. I'm going to add a bit of cornstarch flurry to it, and I'm going to put just a little knob of butter for a bit of creaminess, silkiness, and for taste and flavor, because it all goes together. I'm adding a tablespoon of water to a level teaspoon of cornstarch, and I'm making cornstarch flurry, and I'm just going to add that to the sauce. In it goes. I'm going to give that a quick mix. Oh, that is looking so good. We're going to add some butter now. It's just a tablespoon of butter. Wow, look at this sauce. Look at this. Wow, it's looking really good. And I'm going to switch the fire off from under it until we're ready to glaze the ribs. Just a quick note, I did taste the sauce and I didn't need to add any more seasoning to it, so it was just perfect. Okay, this is after 2.5 hours. Okay, oh wow. These are really falling off the bones. Oh wow, they're very tender. Okay, what I'm going to do now, we've got some lovely flavorful juices in the bottom of here, so I'm going to tip some of it into the sauce, well, the glaze that I've made earlier, so we can add additional flavors to that gravy. I'm just gonna drop a bit in there. Just going to whisk that all in, and I'm just going to pop that back on the fire, and I'm just going to let it bubble for a minute or so before I glaze the ribs and put them back under the grill for about 6 minutes until they're nice and golden. Alright, time for the marinade. I'm just gonna pour some in this bowl. This is what it looks like. It's absolutely divine. Let's brush these ribs with this glorious glaze. We're going to do them on both sides, but we're going to put them in the oven on this side first. We're just going to let those get some caramelization on the top for about 3 minutes, and then we're going to flip them over and then we're going to drench them in this divine glaze. Okay, time for the oven, and I've warmed the oven up to 225 degrees Celsius. This is after 3 minutes. Now I'm going to flip them again, and then I'm going to coat them with this delicious glaze, then back in the oven for another 3 minutes, and then I'm going to let them cool and serve up. And there you have it, guys, my oven baked Caribbean fusion sticky ribs. OMG, they look delicious. I bet you can't wait. There you go. Enjoy. This is how I'm serving mine, with some homemade wedges, spicy wedges, coleslaw, sweet corn with garlic butter, with Berber sauce and harissa paste, and some buttered mixed vegetables.